This is WHTM Television, Channel 27.
Live from Central Pennsylvania's news team, this is WHTM News Center, Evening Edition.
Certainly an innocent person who's driving and is hit by someone who's drunk and was drinking at your house, you bear some responsibility.
Or do you? If you serve alcohol this New Year's Eve, it might surprise you to know who's responsible for your guests. And some promising news from the hostage situation in Peru. Good evening, everyone. I'm Karen Thomas. Thanks for joining us tonight. New Year's Eve is a holiday many people celebrate with alcohol. Common sense says don't drink and drive, but unfortunately, police respond every year to drunk driving accidents. But according to the law, who's responsible? John Barr reports.
If you drink and drive this New Year's Eve, you could run into this.
That's fine, sir. You can stop.
Or worse. But when it comes to deciding who's liable for a drunk driving accident, the law considers the source. Under Pennsylvania law, if I were to spend the night drinking at a bar to the point where I was intoxicated and then hit someone on the way home, technically the bar could be held liable. But the same cannot be said for an individual who throws a party.
Pennsylvania says that it's the responsibility of the person who's drinking at a social setting, social host party, to have that responsibility and not the host's responsibility.
Attorney Michael Kozik says a 1983 ruling by the state Supreme Court makes a clear distinction between bars and hosts who serve alcohol at private parties. A social host can only be held liable for serving a minor. Bars can be held liable for serving any adult who is visibly drunk.
It's their responsibility when they're making a profit to have enough people to assess the people coming in and going out of the place so that they're not involved in accidents.
So when bartender Michelle Carroll cuts off a customer who's had too much, she's looking out for more than just the customer's interest.
I take keys frequently. I check with friends to see if they could take home. We also call taxis a lot here.
I'm not as concerned about my restaurant liability, mainly my civic liability to make sure that no one hurts themselves or anybody else. That's my main concern before I worry about anything else, and I do what I can to stop them.
It may not seem entirely fair. Drink 10 beers at a bar, get in an accident, and the bar can be sued. Do the same at a private party, and the host is protected.
It's difficult sometimes trying to place everybody's role and responsibility and why the law treats some individuals differently, but when it comes down to it, it's just using common sense and responsibility, whether you're a bar or a social host, and also, I guess, if you're the drinker.
And remember, only civil law draws these fine distinctions. When it comes to drunk driving, criminal courts will hold you responsible, no matter who served you the drinks. John Barr, WHTM News Center, Dauphin County.
Attorney Michael Kozik also says despite what's on the books, hosts still have a moral responsibility not to serve too much alcohol. And he says there's always a chance the current law could be challenged. Well, tonight, police know the names of 2 people killed in Hamilton Township, Franklin County. State police say 36-year-old Carla Reed and 14-year-old Deidre Moore were shot while they slept in their Chambersburg home yesterday morning. Family members discovered the bodies. The investigation continues. A former fast food employee is under arrest for a deadly shooting in California. 24-year-old Jody Gordon is accused of shooting 3 female employees at a California McDonald's. One of the women died. Police say Gordon was laughing as he opened fire. He had apparently asked for his job back, but was turned down. More hostages in Peru are free tonight. At least 20 of them were released from the Japanese ambassador's residence. Earlier today, a Peruvian government negotiator led the first face-to-face contact between the two sides since the crisis began December 17th. Previously, the two sides made contact through the Red Cross. Well, President Clinton wants to improve the safety of airbags. Today, he announced new federal rules that allow automakers to install bags with less force and also give owners the right to have their airbags disconnected.
The steps we are taking will make our roads safer and our children more secure. We're making airbags safer for our children. We're working to increase the use of seat belts nationwide, and we're demanding the responsibility that comes with the privilege of driving.
The move's in response to pressure from consumer groups and automakers. 32 children and 20 adults have died in low-speed accidents caused from the force of airbags. The new airbag rules are expected to be in effect by springtime. Well, turning to our weather, a cloudy day across the mid-state. Let's check in now with Rob Dixon in the Weather Center. Hi, Rob.
Hi, Karen. Well, it was a cloudy day, but if you notice, it wasn't an excessively chilly day. It was fairly mild across the mid-state, and it looks like that combination will continue for a while longer. In fact, temperatures will be looking more up tomorrow. But we do have very mild temperatures across the state at this time. We're still holding our readings across the mid-state in the mid-40s. Take a look at the western part of the state. They have readings in the mid-50s. And meanwhile, underneath the cloud cover, we still have warm air pouring up from the southwest. But at the same time, all that moisture is just keeping the clouds hanging in. So it's going to be one of those cloudy affairs, but mild conditions. As we look at the rest of the evening, it will be cloudy, but temperatures just holding near steady, being in the 40s. And tomorrow, things are going to continue to warm up. So overall, it's looking like a very mild end to this weekend. And I'll have more on the details to that later on. Karen.
All right. Thank you, Rob. Penn State's football team is into its final days of preparation before the Fiesta Bowl. Our Dennis Owens is with the Nittany Lions in Arizona. He joins us live from Tempe. Dennis, what's the mood just 4 days before this big game?
Karen, anticipation is building here. In the next few days, literally tens of thousands of people will converge on tiny Tempe as Texas and Penn State get set to play the game next Wednesday. Speaking of the game, if you look at it, really you say, hey, this should be an easy one for Penn State. Penn State, after all, is 10-2 and ranked 7th. Texas, a rather pedestrian 8-4, ranked 20th. But be warned, Penn State fans, the numbers don't always tell the whole story. It is called the Valley of the Sun, and fittingly, college football's hottest team is preparing here to play Penn State.
Go to work, guys. Go to work.
Confident? No, I'm scared to death. but I'm confident we're going to play well as we can play. Whether that's good enough or not, we'll have to find out.
Those fears are founded. After a dismal 3-4 start, the Longhorns have stampeded 5 straight opponents, including mighty Nebraska, and they've averaged more than 500 yards in offense in doing so. UT may just be the best 20th ranked team in history.
They're not a top 20 team, they're a top 5 team. I mean, you tell me 4 teams that, I don't care if they play anybody, you tell me who they would not be favored over. Or be a 2-point underdog to Florida or Florida State, somebody like that. Arizona State. And they're as good as anybody in the country right now.
And the Longhorns think the best way to prove that is to beat Penn State on Wednesday.
Let's go practice.
We're not a bad football team. I mean, we lost to some teams that, probably weren't so good, by a few points. And I just think we win this game. It'll show what kind of team that we had. And, not a lot of teams want to play us right now.
Indeed, not a lot of teams want to play them, but don't be too scared, Penn State fans. In the desert dirt, Penn State has been like a cactus flower. They have flourished. In the desert dirt, they've played here 5 times. They have won 5 times. Quick cactus fact. Take a look at this. It's a saguaro cactus. I understand that they don't get a first arm until they're at least 100 years old. So we're standing next to a elder statesman here next to the stadium. For the elder statesman and for me, Dennis Owens, reporting live in Arizona. Karen, let's send it back to you.
All right, Dennis, we'll see you a little later. Thanks for that live report. When the evening edition of News Center continues, a cultural treat for area children as the Middle East comes to the mid-state. We'll take you there when we come right back.
A lot of records were broken in 1996, and we have until January 6th to break another during our Jeep and Eagle year-end celebration with a great lease rate of just $299 a month on a new Jeep Grand Cherokee Laredo. Up to $1,836 in values on Cherokee Sport. Plus, check out the award-winning all-new Wrangler. So help us set another record in 1996. Hurry in today to the year-end celebration at your Jeep and Eagle dealer.
See your key states Jeep and Eagle dealers.
Johnny Bench for S&K.
Come to S&K's hot winter clearance sale. It's thawing out prices on handsome wool blend suits at 2 for just $199.97. Thousands of clearance sale prices on sport coats from $89.97. And take the chill off with winter sportswear and outerwear at 20 to 50% off too. So come to S&K's winter clearance sale now because these prices won't last forever.
3 area locations in Harrisburg, Camp Hill, and in Lancaster. It's a 2-for-1 chair deal at Boscov's. Take home 2 Lane recliners or superior swivel rockers for the price of 1. Only $299 for 2 superior, comfortable, and affordable swivel rockers. $499 for 2 of our best-selling plush Lane recliners. $599 for 2 Lane Chippendale recliners. Bring a friend and share the savings. For a limited time, 2 chairs for the price of 1 at all Boscov's.
News in brief. Excitement reigns as J.D. Power and Associates announce Appeal Awards. Pontiac's top 3 categories: Sunfire, Most Appealing Compact; Grand Am, Most Appealing Midsize; Bonneville, Most Appealing Premium Midsize. Dealers celebrate award excitement with incredible values. Get 3.9% APR GMAC financing for up to 60 months with no payments for 90 days on any new Grand Am. Or choose $1,000 cash back. It all ends January 2nd, so hurry to your Pontiac Pace Centers.
You may be surprised to know this time of year many people find themselves depressed. It's called the holiday blues. And although it's similar to chronic depression, you don't treat it the same way. Coming up at 7:30 here on WHTM tonight, medical reporter Susanna Schuler talks about curing the holiday blues. It's part of Health Digest Monthly. Also coming up tonight, how light could prevent winter from getting you down. And when it does start snowing, how to protect yourself from some common winter injuries. That's tonight on Health Digest Monthly, coming right up at 7:30. Worshippers of 3 major faiths joined together today for a unique event in Harrisburg. It's called the Children's Middle Eastern Bazaar. The Harrisburg Opera hosted the event at the Ramada Inn this afternoon. Organizers hope the bazaar gives mid-state children a better understanding of different cultures.
I wanted to give children a little sense, a little nugget of the Middle Eastern experience to be available to them here in central Pennsylvania. The area is very important in terms of the history, the politics, the culture, and so they could come right here to the Ramada and take a little bit of a taste of that.
Children also made crafts and danced to the music of the Middle East. The International Market and the Museum of Scientific Discovery also helped out with today's Children's Bazaar. Well, get ready for an early spring. Rob Dixon has a warm Sunday forecast. He'll have details next. And then a mid-state woman marks a 100-year milestone. Her story later on WHTM News Center.
Want a tissue that makes kids say ah, not ouch?
Ow! I hate the way ordinary tissues hurt them.
That's why there's Puffs Plus. Tests show they soothe better than regular tissues.
See? It's soft.
Puffs Plus has lotion with aloe and vitamin E.
It's got lotion. That's why I feel so nice.
And why Puffs Plus helps sore noses feel better than regular tissues.
Wow. Because when they feel better, I feel better.
Thanks, Mom.
Puffs Plus, the soft and soothing ones for your loved ones.
I was raised on a farm a lot like this one. I grew to love the land and the people who work it. Funny how every time I come back, something just seems to remind me, no matter how much our world may change, the best things in life still come naturally.
Jim Herr doesn't use just any potatoes. But then Jim Herr doesn't make just any potato chip. Make hers, yours.
Hamill, Bayul, Petrenko, and many more. Win a family 4-pack of tickets to the Winter Tour of Figure Skating Champions, January 12th at Hershey Park Arena. Just send WHTM a postcard with your name, address, and phone number by January 3rd. We'll draw a lucky winner every day for a week, beginning January 6th on WHTM's Midday Edition.
Tonight, we'll wrap up your holiday with 2 brand new specials. First, it's a star-studded event from Caesars Palace with today's hottest stars featuring Drew Carey. It's Caesars Palace 30th Anniversary Celebration. Then, one stage, one night, the greatest names in American music.
I got my gal who cares.
As Nissan presents a celebration of America's music, it's spectacular entertainment, 2 brand new specials.
Join WHTM tonight at 8.
Sunday, people need a helping hand, now more than ever. But will there be enough volunteers to go around?
That's on Good Morning America Sunday.
Here on ABC.
You're watching WHTM News Center Evening Edition with Rob Dixon's forecast for central Pennsylvania.
So it's a little bit of a trend on the eastern coast anyway.
Right, the eastern coast is enjoying this all the way and should hold in for a couple more days. And in the long term, actually, remember our highs normally are in the 30s, so anything above that we cheer for, and there probably is going to be a lot of cheering. But believe it or not, as we have the warmth, some spots have the cold temperatures. Let's show you the current readings across the whole United States. Of course, you can see the chilly spots are across the northern plains. In fact, take a look at this. Talk about a diversity of temperatures. Well, we have about a 90-degree spread of temperatures across the country. Take a look down to Brownsville. They've got about 75 degrees right now, but if you go up to Glasgow, Maine, minus 14 degrees. So it's a very intense pressure or temperature gradient across the country, and at least as you can see on the eastern half of the U.S., we're in the warm slot, and let's hope it stays that way. In fact, I'm sure it will for a while. So we take a look outside. We do have the moisture, and that's providing us with the cloudy conditions. Some areas of fog developing, and currently the temperature is at 45 in Harrisburg, 44 in York, 43 Carlisle, 44 Lancaster, and Lebanon's at 42. We also have our winds out of the southeast at 10 miles an hour. The relative humidity right up there at 100%. We do have a steady barometer, and earlier today we had 4/100ths of an inch of rainfall. Meanwhile, along the Susquehanna River, it's holding at 6 feet, but come tomorrow morning, it'll be down to 5.8. And looking at the official numbers of the day, the high was 50 degrees. The low was 31. Wow. Normally our high is only 37 with a low temperature of 23. So we are locked into a spell of warm weather at least for a while. We're also locked in with that moisture. Notice on the satellite sequence, we had a lot of low and middle clouds just penetrating through the mid-state and much of the northeast. And it looks like these low clouds are going to be hanging in for at least overnight. Maybe some breakups tomorrow. But one thing's for sure, if you take a look at the long view out across North America, actually the very bitterly cold Canadian air is locking very firm across Canada. That's where you'll find the frigid air. Here, we're going to just find the mild air. And over the next 5 days, you can see how drastic this is. Areas in the Midwest will be about 24 degrees above their normal. The real chillier than normal spots will be found out in the Pacific Northwest and the western portions of Canada. Now, as we take a look at the motion map over the next 24 hours, we have a couple of sectors of warm air, mild air, and then cold air in Canada. And you can see one front's going to try and push through tomorrow, giving us a chance of rainfall. But the real cold air is going to be holding up in Canada. So overall, we're still going to remain mild. And temperatures tomorrow really prove that. Highs tomorrow across much of the state, either in the 50s or, notice the 60-degree line nicking very close to the Mason-Dixon line. So overall, hey, enjoy the warmth. It's pretty well around here. As we look at tonight, cloudy, warm. There will be patchy areas of fog, but a low temperature of only 42 degrees. And tomorrow, mostly cloudy, very warm with scattered showers. The high climbs up to about 58 degrees. Then for tomorrow night, decreasing cloudiness, still mild though, a low of 36, which would be about the normal high. And then on Monday, variable cloudiness, still mild, just a little cooler at a high of only 48 degrees. That's still pretty good. Over the next 5 days, we do hold with those mild conditions. There is a cooling trend. Notice we're sliding back in through the 40s, and there is even a chance of a mixture of precipitation coming in on Thursday. But overall, it's looking pretty nice as we wrap up the year.
I'll take 58 degrees any day.
Well, you'll get it tomorrow.
All right, Rob. Thank you. Up next in sports, we'll have more from the Fiesta Bowl in Tempe as Penn State gets set to take on Texas. And some big surprises on the first day of the NFL playoffs. We'll show you what happened next on WHTM News Center's Evening Edition.
Around here, the places to drive are the places to save with your Chrysler and Plymouth dealers' year-end sale. Get this low price on the amazingly roomy Plymouth Breeze with $1,000 cash back. Or see your local dealer for the special Plymouth Voyager, plus no charge air, automatic, and 7-passenger seating at this low price. The year-end sale ends soon. If you want to see what's new at your neighborly Chrysler and Plymouth dealer, we'll show you what's new.
Johnny Bench for S&K.
Come to S&K's hot winter clearance sale. It's thawing out prices on handsome wool blend suits at 2 for just $199.97. Thousands of clearance sale prices on sport coats from $89.97. And take the chill off with winter sportswear and outerwear at 20 to 50% off too. So come to S&K's winter clearance sale now because these prices won't last forever.
3 area locations in Harrisburg, Camp Hill, and in Lancaster.
Quilted Quaker Picker Rubber. Bounty.
Happy holidays and a bountiful new year.
You thought you missed out on the best Ford car deals of the year. Think again. Drive Ford Escort for $179 a month. Ford Contour, $199 a month. Final week of savings. Ford's year-end clearance. $179 a month Escort, $199 a month Contour. The final week. Ford's year-end clearance. See your Quality Plus Ford dealer by January 3rd. Don't miss out.
You're watching WHTM News Center, Evening Edition, with a Greg Mace Sports Reports.
Great. Our own Greg Mace, a Fiesta Bowl vet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was there twice when they played Marcus Allen, and then last time when they, actually not the last time, but the big game against Vinny Testaverde in Miami. And it's really the Fiesta Bowl. I know a lot of people are headed out there. Really one of the best run, I think, most enjoyable bowl games. The pace is somewhat less frantic than Florida, where, you know, you're going to all the amusement things. You kind of sit back and you relax and you enjoy the cactuses like Dennis did. And now everyone begins to put on their game face. And as you heard Dennis talk about earlier live from Tempe, Penn State has plenty of real concerns about Texas. Well, today both coaches met and talked, and this is a pretty good coaching matchup as well. Joe against John Makovic, a guy who's been around a while as well, but is 17 years younger than the 70-year-old Joe Paterno. So, of course, every time Joe takes the spotlight, so does the question of retirement.
I think our society has to understand 70 is not old anymore. I mean, if people today eat properly, exercise, and take care of themselves, 70 is not, we're not, you see guys running marathons, at 80. You see guys lifting weights, 75. I think it's all relative, and it gets to be up here.
Well, Joe will have even more to say about his career in our live one-hour special Fiesta Fever, New Year's Eve, 7 p.m. right here on WHTM. Who is the hottest team in the NFL? Not the Cowboys or the Steelers or the 49ers. It's little old expansion Jacksonville. First-round playoffs against the Bills, tied at 20, Jacksonville ball, but Buffalo picks it off. Thomas Smith into the end zone. Buffalo led 27-20. But Jacksonville comes back. Here's Brunell to Jimmy Smith. Wind his way in. We're tied at 27. Now Buffalo has a chance to take the lead. Watch what Jim Kelly does. Goes back to throw, fumbles, picks it up, run Jim, fumbles again, and it's Jacksonville ball. And then with 3 minutes left, here's what turned out to be kind of a bizarre game winner. Mike Hollis from 45 yards out hits the post and goes through the uprights, and Jacksonville pulls off the upset 30-27 over Buffalo. You just saw the Cowboys taking Minnesota out of the game early. Troy Aikman, who usually doesn't scramble, scrambles his way into the end zone at 7-0 Dallas. Here's the play that I think really sort of set the tone for Minnesota. Amp Lee gets the football. He's gone. What a great play. Into the end zone for a touchdown. Or is it a touchback? That's a, referees consult please. That is a touchback. Ouch. That really kind of set the pattern for the rest of the afternoon. Emmett up the middle, 17-0. Cowboys move on to the next round, 40-15 over Minnesota. Well, the Sixers still looking for maybe a little consistency, maybe hoping to put a little winning streak together. This afternoon, up against Utah, going for 2 in a row. Here is Rex Walters with a nice move to put it home. But Utah has a record almost as good as the Chicago Bulls. Watch this pass from John Stockton. Right down court. The Sixers have lost 10 of their last 11. Utah wins 110-84. The Knicks in Orlando. New York goes to their main man, Patrick Ewing. No jam on that one. But here comes the jam. And the Knicks go on to beat Orlando. They have won 9 of their last 11, 96-85 over the Magic. Again, we remind you, we have our Fiesta Bowl special, Fiesta Fever. That is New Year's Eve, 7 p.m. right here on WHTM. We're going to show you some behind-the-scenes things. Talk to Franco Harris, who has revived the business down in Baltimore, one of the great Penn State players. So, as I said, this is going to be a really good matchup. Joe is not kidding. I know often we hear Joe go, listen, everybody's going to be tough. He said Northern Illinois was going to be tough. Right. But I think Texas legitimately is one of the hottest teams in the country. So
and Tostitos everywhere.
Tostitos everywhere. That, of course, is the sponsor. It used to be the Sunkist, now it's Tostitos. There's always a sponsorship name on many of these bowls, so that's why they get $8 million for this thing.
Amazing.
So we'll talk more about that coming up, and Dennis will be out there enjoying the weather all week long.
Yeah, we look forward to those reports.
Okay.
Alrighty, thanks, Greg. When News Center returns, you'll meet someone who's celebrating a 3-digit birthday. We'll meet her in just a moment. Stay with us.
Whoa! This time of year means great shopping and slippery roads! To help get around safely, shop for a Chevy Blazer. There are some great smart lease offers during the Chevy Make Your Money Count year-end event. The Blazer's driver control system is designed to give you a little security in an insecure world. Chevy dealers are making great offers on other cars and trucks, too. With Blazer, you can shop no matter what the weather.
Make your money count now on Chevy Blazer. But hurry, this offer ends soon.
Want a tissue that makes kids say ah, not ouch?
Ow! I hate the way ordinary tissues hurt them.
That's why there's Puffs Plus. Tests show they soothe better than regular tissues.
See? It's soft.
Puffs Plus has lotion with aloe and vitamin E.
It's got lotion. That's why I feel so nice.
And why Puffs Plus helps sore noses feel better than regular tissues.
Wow. Because when they feel better, I feel better.
Thanks, Mom.
Puffs Plus, the soft and soothing ones for your loved ones.
Hamel, Bayul, Petrenko, and many more. Win a family 4-pack of tickets to the Winter Tour of Figure Skating Champions, January 12th at Hershey Park Arena. Just send WHTM a postcard with your name, address, and phone number by January 3rd. We'll draw a lucky winner every day for a week, beginning January 6th on WHTM's Midday Edition.
How this man's unusual earthquake prediction theory has shaken up the U.S. government.
I think they were embarrassed that it did work.
On Extra.
Monday at 7:30 on WHTM. A lot of records were broken in 1996, and we have until January 6th to break another during our Jeep and Eagle year-end celebration with a great lease rate of just $299 a month on a new Jeep Grand Cherokee Laredo. Up to $1,836 in values on Cherokee Sport. Plus, check out the award-winning all-new Wrangler. So help us set another record in 1996. Hurry in today to the year-end celebration at your Jeep and Eagle dealer.
See your key states Jeep and Eagle dealers.
It's the toughest job of all and comes with little training. When difficult questions arise, you may not always have the answers. That's why WHTM introduced Success by 6. Each week, Kim Garris shares ideas on how to start your kids off right, developing good habits early to ensure your child's success by 6.
I didn't know what to do, and I didn't have counseling to explain to me different techniques I could use. Success by 6, a WHTM News Center exclusive, every Friday on the evening edition at 6. You're watching WHTM News Center Evening Edition with closed captioning for the hearing impaired.
And finally tonight, a big birthday bash today in Harrisburg. Meet Lillian Hessler, Pennsylvania's first ever female chiropractor. Well, today she celebrated her big 100th birthday on Butler Street in a big party. And so, how does she feel at 100?
Just the same as when I was 50.
She doesn't feel a day over 50, which doesn't look it either. There was plenty of singing and, of course, plenty of birthday cake for the special lady on her big day. Happy birthday, Lillian.
Notice no candles, though. Why didn't they put in 100 candles? That'd be
I don't know. Too much of a challenge.
That's right.
It is messy. It gets in the way.
That's why they invite me to those. I'm the only one who has enough hot air to blow all those candles out. But speaking of hot air, we do have it around the mid-state tonight. Maybe not super hot, but indeed, it's going to be mild across the mid-state. Through the evening hours, just cloudy. It'll be mild. The temperatures hovering in the 40s. There might be some patchy areas of fog. And then we wait for tomorrow as the mercury will climb up into the upper 50s, and maybe some points will be nicking near 60.
That's amazing.
That's incredible. That's weather. I love it.
I love it. Thanks for watching WHTM News Center's Evening Edition. For Rob and Greg, I'm Karen Thomas. Have a great night, and we'll see you back here at 11 o'clock for WHTM News Center's Late Edition.
From Central Pennsylvania's news team, this is WHTM Health Digest, a monthly medical special hosted by Susanna Schuler. Health Digest is brought to you by Capital Blue Cross, Pennsylvania Blue Shield.
I couldn't concentrate, I couldn't remember, I couldn't write.
And for many months, this mid-stater couldn't do what many others can't, learn to cope with chronic depression. And for others, it's not an illness, but just the winter season that brings on the blues, and tonight, we will help you cope. Good evening, everyone. I'm Susanna Schuler. This is the December edition of Health Digest Monthly. Thanks for being here. Tonight, we focus on winter woes, starting with one that seems to be exaggerated during the holidays, but for thousands, depression is not just the holiday blues, but an illness as serious as heart disease.
The mission is to understand that mental illnesses are brain illnesses, and they're no different than any other illness.
And many are learning how to treat that illness, and it is changing their lives. Hopefully tonight, their words will help you change yours.
I started to feel like I was having real difficulty getting up in the morning, and this was by noontime. I was really having a hard time getting going.
For others, the lack of sun and the abundance of gray skies and snow causes a different type of depression known as SAD. Find out how easy it can be to cure. And the winter woes come each time we get a blast of winter weather. This time of year, many people are hurt just coping with winter. But an ounce of prevention goes a long way, and tonight we will help you prevent some winter injuries. That is all coming up in the next 30 minutes on Health Digest Monthly. But before we go on, we want to take a look at some of the latest health news from this month. Some very reassuring news for pregnant women. The more foods you eat containing magnesium, the less risk your babies will have to develop birth defects like cerebral palsy or mental retardation. Researchers found the results most dramatic in low birth weight babies.
We found that those children whose mothers had been treated with magnesium sulfate during pregnancy, that they had a 90% lower risk for cerebral palsy and a 70% lower risk for mental retardation.
Magnesium is found in green vegetables, nuts, whole grain, and multivitamins, but taking too much can be dangerous, so see your doctor. Another study finds heart patients could see better results if doctors also prescribe beta blockers after heart attack treatments. Currently, doctors give the medication while a person is having a heart attack to reduce the amount of damage caused to the heart. Women now have more protection for their bones. The Food and Drug Administration has approved a new drug called alendronate. It cuts a woman's risk of painful fractures in half. The medical community is asking all women at risk of osteoporosis to talk to their doctors about alendronate. And as you head into the new year with a resolution to take charge of your health, let WHTM help you. Become a part of Buddy Check 27 and increase your chances of surviving breast cancer. All you have to do is go by any giant food store in the mid-state and pick up a postcard. Mail it into Pinnacle Health Systems. They will mail you a kit. The Buddy Check kit comes complete with 2 of everything you need for you and a buddy to do breast self-exams once a month. Jean Halleck of Swatara Township knows the importance of these exams. At 37, she was diagnosed with breast cancer. Now she's fighting back and hoping her story inspires other women to fight the disease.
I guess the biggest thing is to just not be afraid. I mean, it is a terrifying thing. I'm not going to make light of it, but it can be dealt with, and it can also prove that you can survive it.
The Buddy Check kit also helps remind you that self-breast exam, along with routine mammograms and doctor's visits, are your best weapon in the fight. The kits are free and available through the new year. We hope you'll become a buddy. So far, almost 5,000 mid-state women have done that. Well, ahead on Health Digest, coping with chronic depression. It is an illness like any other, and once this mid-stater learned that, he started living again.
You know, I don't want people to ever think, you know, it's something I can deal with.
Helping you handle depression next.
You're watching WHTM News Center Health Digest, brought to you by Capital Blue Cross, Pennsylvania Blue Shield.
Hamel, Bayul, Petrenko, and many more. Win a family 4-pack of tickets to the Winter Tour of Figure Skating Champions, January 12th at Hershey Park Arena. Just send WHTM a postcard with your name, address, and phone number by January 3rd. We'll draw a lucky winner every day for a week, beginning January 6th on WHTM's Midday Edition.
How can you make something with all the style of France even better? Just give it an American accent, like rich French roast from Maxwell House. Irresistibly rich. It's the best of France, made our own. And it's always good to the last drop.
This season's biggest hit, the 18th annual Toyotathon. At $159 a month, all eyes are on Corolla, the most trusted car in the world. Well equipped, or buy with $1,000 cash back. And with low APR or cash back on the new Tercel, they're left speechless. So hurry into your Toyota dealer now. It'll end in the blink of an eye. The 18th annual Toyotathon, Toyota's premier sales event.
Now that Capital Blue Cross and Pennsylvania Blue Shield are offering 2 affordable new health plans, as well as our traditional coverage and HMO, people across central Pennsylvania are feeling more secure about their health. And some are feeling a lot more secure.
See you later, honey!
Capital Blue Cross Pennsylvania Blue Shield, the leaders in traditional coverage and not so traditional coverage.
New Year's Eve, party with WHTM News Center as Penn State heads west. Fiesta Fever, December 31st at 7 p.m.
Welcome back. This time of year, many people find themselves feeling depressed. That's called the holiday blues. But for thousands of others, depression is a part of life, and learning what causes it means learning to control it.
As a young graduate student years ago, everything was going George Galleon's way. Then almost overnight, he started having trouble with school.
I couldn't concentrate, I couldn't remember, I couldn't write.
George brushed it off to not being ready for graduate school. But it got worse. He grew more depressed, even suicidal. Finally, George walked over to the college health clinic.
And stared at the door for a little bit and thought, no, I don't want people to ever think, it's something I can deal with. I can, I'm tough. I'm macho man. I can, get through this without anybody's assistance.
There are a lot of barriers.
Mary Ellen Rearman knows because she's faced them. Her son has schizophrenia, and she is the director of the Alliance for the Mentally Ill in Harrisburg. Mary Ellen says overcoming the barriers means treating mental illness as just that.
The mission is to understand that mental illnesses are brain illnesses, and they're no different than any other illness.
And the challenge is convincing patients and people alike that there is help out there, especially by combining drug therapy and counseling.
People who are paraplegics get wheelchairs. People who had a mental illness did not get a wheelchair, and we have now a system design that tells us what our wheelchairs should be.
I basically have to know somebody before I'll talk about it.
George found his wheelchair through medication and counseling. And although he never finished grad school, he's learning to manage his depression and use his strength to survive whatever comes.
Understanding also goes a long way to helping people cope with chronic depression. George says when he finally got around to telling his family, their support made a huge difference. And there's a great deal of support and help available right here in the Mid-State. The Alliance for the Mentally Ill provides all kinds of services, plus a hotline number you can call. It's answered from 8 to 5. You can call at other times and leave a message. That number is 1-800-223-0500. And the most important thing to remember is that mental illnesses are biological, like heart disease and cancer, and people can get the help they need if they face it. Well, for thousands of others, it is the time of year that has them feeling depressed. We call it the holiday blues, but you can beat them fighting the doldrums when Health Digest Monthly returns. And once again, here's the number to call if you think you might be suffering from chronic depression, 1-800-223-0500. We'll be right back.
A real roast beef sandwich at Hardee's. It's slow roasted in the oven. Then Hardee's slices it real thin and piles it real high. And now, Hardee's real roast beef sandwiches are even better because you can get 2 for only $2. If you're craving a really good roast beef sandwich at a really good price, you really want 2 real roast beef sandwiches for $2. Only at Hardee's.
Hello, Central Pennsylvania. I'm Charles Gibson.
And I'm Joan London. There's only one way to start your day, and that's with WHTM News Center's Morning Edition with Kim Garris.
That's right. At 6 a.m., grab a cup of coffee and join me for the news you need to know, your first forecast, and traffic reports around the hour.
And then at 7, we hope you'll stay tuned for the news and information you need from the rest of your world on Good Morning America.
So begin your day with News Center's Morning Edition at 6.
And Good Morning America at 7.
Weekday mornings on WHTM.
Now that Capital Blue Cross and Pennsylvania Blue Shield are offering 2 affordable new health plans, as well as our traditional coverage and HMO, people across central Pennsylvania are worrying less about their health and enjoying life more. Some more than others.
Thanks, Mom.
Capital Blue Cross Pennsylvania Blue Shield, the leaders in traditional coverage and not so traditional coverage.
It's a choice you make every day. Who do you trust for news? With more experience and an everyday commitment to cover Central Pennsylvania's news, it's no wonder the station more Capital Region viewers watch is WHTM News Center. Make the right choice. Now is the time to trust Central Pennsylvania's news team. WHTM News Center, your last word on news. Every day.
You're watching WHTM News Center Health Digest with medical reporter Susanna Schuler.
For many people, depression only seems to strike this time of year during the holidays. That is known as the holiday blues. And today, Deb Salem with InnerWorks joins us to talk about how people can cope. Thank you for being here.
Sure.
You and I had been talking on the phone throughout the month, and you said you have been so busy.
Yes.
What are you hearing this time of year?
I think it's the effects of all of the added stress that comes with the holiday. There's a kind of magical expectation on everybody that they be more capable of so many different things. And I think the questions people are asking are what to do about the stress, how to handle what's regular life crises against the expectation that they want to celebrate.
Right, what we call the Hallmark holiday, which nobody really has that.
Absolutely, yes.
So what do you tell people as far as, there's a big difference between what we call chronic depression and what would be the holiday blues. How do you tell people to spot the differences?
I think the major thing that we tell them is to, it's about length of time and it's about severity. The expectations at the holidays don't eliminate in any way all of the other life activities that we have to do. To notice that, generally speaking, without the holiday expectation, they're doing fairly well. And that the symptoms that they have that mirror depression are really a reflection of the added stress on them for the holiday. And so we ask them to really compare those symptoms. And for some people, it truly is a major depression and not just the holidays.
And that might be a time to spot that.
Right.
Exactly.
Right.
What about what to do? Obviously, we've just passed Christmas, coming up to the new year. What can we do this time of year to better cope ourselves with that stress that we're feeling or that depression?
I think the major thing is that there is a lot of desires for people to have magical things in their life and to have exciting things in their life. So the recommendation isn't for all of us to become Scrooges at the holiday, but the major recommendation is to do what you're comfortable with instead of what the expectations tell us we're supposed to do. For instance, if you are comfortable with a lot of family togetherness, then have that. If you are comfortable with a lot of spending and giving gifts, then do that. But if you are not, and if your life doesn't provide that, take your expectations of yourself as the priority instead of what the Hallmark card might say.
You'll enjoy it much more then. What about alcohol? Because there's a lot of that around this time of year. How much does that exaggerate or cause the problem that's going on?
I think it provides another added problem. One of the things that happens for a lot of people is instead of facing that they can't match the expectations of the holiday, many of us will begin to fake it. We'll do the things, but then we need props for ourselves in order to pull off the stress. And alcohol, unfortunately, which is readily available during celebrations, becomes just the crutch that people can use. And in the after, alcohol is a depressant, and so trying to use it to celebrate creates actually the reverse effect.
Because people tell themselves, I'm going to relax, that'll help me relax, I can handle this better, and it really does the opposite, makes it worse. So what do we tell people once they've seen these symptoms and they're trying to cope, and what if they just can't? When do they know that it's time, maybe I need to see somebody, go to Interworks, go somewhere and see someone? What are the clues there that say you need to get some help?
Again, the clues are a combination of two things. One is knowing the symptoms of depression, which include difficulty concentrating, not having pleasure in things you usually have pleasure in, tiredness, etc. Waiting a couple weeks after the holiday, but if those symptoms persist, most of us have a kind of downtime after a very exciting period. If those symptoms persist much longer, it really is time to call somebody. And the first line may not be professional help, but the support of friends or family members who know you, and begin to ask them if they're noticing the difference in you.
And then go from there.
And then seek professional help. And we are always glad to either give advice or provide services for people.
Deb Salem with Interworks, thank you for being here. Some good advice, very needed this time of year. We appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Well, there's another disorder that lingers around this time of year, and while it has some of the same symptoms as the holiday blues, it has more to do with the weather than holiday rituals.
One of the first things that is seen in the more severe types of depression is sleep disturbance. It's almost the hallmark of a depressive episode.
Up next, shedding some light on seasonal affective disorder.
Her football player husband dumped her for a Hollywood starlet.
I was kind of numb.
Her billionaire spouse left her penniless.
I just was allowed to take my clothes from the house.
Is there life after a devastating divorce?
I'm very angry.
Women who say,
He left me for another woman.
first wives speak out.
That's why these guys are so easy. You see, if you were to go out and find a man that didn't already have somebody, that
I already had a man when I met this one.
Next, Sally.
Monday at 10 on WHTM.